Welcome to the Grand Collaborations, a part of the Grand Podcast. My name is Nicole, and I'm the creator, editor, and host of The Grand. The Grand is now open for business, and I have therefore created the podcast category The Grand Collaboration, where I will launch podcast collaborations with partners. This podcast episode is a collaboration between RM Framework Project, funded by Horizon Europe, and The Grand. The RM Framework Project is the next step in strengthening the role of the research managers in Europe. With EU funding, the consortium is now developing a European qualification system for research management. The goal is to standardize education and training programs and create a quality label that makes skills more comparable across countries, ultimately helping to professionalize and improve research management within the European research area. The Grand and RM Framework will over 15 episodes dig into the different parts of the project and follow the development over the next 1.5 years. Here in this 6th episode, it is finally time to zoom in on one of the pilots of the project, the NARMA pilot in Norway. I am joined by project manager Nicole Elgueta Silva and project manager Hiwa Målen from the Norwegian Association of Research Management, or NARMA in short. They fold out how they have been working with research management training since 2017, and we then have a conversation about how they will apply the handbook guidelines and quality label to their daily work in the association to test and add new elements to their research management training schemes. Great content. Please enjoy. Welcome to the Grand, the EU funding podcast. We are now recording for the RM Framework series, and we reached episode number 6 in the collaboration with this Horizon Europe project. And the first 5 episodes, we have structured or laid out the project, what it is about, the ecosystem, state of the art, and so on. But now we reach to a more tangible part of what's going to happen in this project as they are rolling it out. And so we're going to have a look at the pilots. And first and foremost, Nicole, Hiwa, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Now, before you get to introduce yourself, just for everybody out there to be aware, the project is about training for research managers, and it's about establishing a quality label and standards of how to do courses, what they're supposed to contain, and how to carry these things out, including the diversity of how to approach this across the continent, but that you have some standards, you have some frames where you say this is something you need to understand and learn if you are research managers. This output from this project is for trainers and everybody who's involved in that. Now, always women first. So, Nicole, can you please introduce yourself?
That's nice. Thank you. Well, my name is Nicole Elgueta Silva. I work at the University of Agder in Norway, which is in the southern part of Norway. And I currently work at the Division of Research and Innovation as a research manager, EU advisor. But I'm also part of the NARMA expert team that has been working with the NARMA training program for research managers and have been doing so for almost 10 years now.
Thanks. And Hiwa.
Thank you, Niels, for having us. So my name is Hiwa Målen. I'm a research and innovation manager in a national AI center that just got funding from the Norwegian Research Council. I'm also board member of the Norwegian NARMA. I'm chair of the ERMA's thematic group for AI in research management, and I'm also a colleague of Nicole, coordinating the training and capacity building program for NARMA at the national level.
So you're one of the pilots. So you've been set up to test and pressure test the handbook and the quality label. We'll get back to that a little later. So what we are going to talk about today is your take on this. First, let's have a look at that model. So let's have a look at this training setup, because you've been doing this for many years.
I think I can start saying a couple of words about the program itself, and then Nicole can fill in, because she has the weight and the expertise when it comes to the history, because she was one of the founding fathers of this program at national level here in Norway. So the capacity building program in Norway is funded by the Norwegian Research Council. Now we are in a funding cycle. I think it's for the fourth time since its beginning. It's composed of 3 levels: an entry level, intermediary to advanced level, and management level. So we have 2 courses for entry levels and advanced levels, and we have a seminar for managers, research directors, and so on. So the program has a national footprint. We recruit participants from all universities and high schools and research centers in Norway. We invite speakers to contribute from a variety of, representing a variety of perspectives, all the way from the Ministry of Research and Education to the Norwegian Research Council to the Confederate of Universities and High Schools and Research Institutions, the NARMA itself, and we also invite people outside Norway as well, from the larger family in Europe and EARMA.
I'd also like to add about the setup that there are no ECTS. So it's not that kind of courses that we have. However, they are very much ECTS oriented. So the participants do get a certificate for participating in the courses, but the whole structure and setup of the courses is very much oriented towards what a 10 ECTS course would have been. So and that's important to know in terms of content and scope of the courses.
Yes, and it's an important point also for this project, because I know from the previous conversations in this podcast, this is the goal, that it goes to a place and reach a place where it will get ECTS points, be part of that system, the Bologna system there. Yeah. Thanks. Is there anything else you want to share about the training program before we start talking about this in relationship to the project here and the pilot that you are managing?
Because it's important to know that NARMA has all of the university and university colleges as their members. So it's an institutional membership in NARMA. And that means that it's an important stakeholder for RMAs. And the RCN and Innovation Norway and NARMA, along with the universities and university colleges, went on together to establish a pilot. And that pilot started in 2017 and went on to about the mid 2019s. So you have a lot of stakeholders that had this aim of getting something established and came together to do it in collaboration, and that's important for us to get people to know the program, as it has these different stakeholders contributing to its development and establishment.
Thanks. We have divided this conversation into how you will be working with the handbook part and how you will be working with the quality label. There might be overlaps. It's always like this, but this is how we structured it. So the next section here, we're going to have a talk about how you are approaching the pilot, and we'll start with how you are working with the handbook that has been developed. So I will use the handbook in vis-a-vis your own program we just went through. Yeah, Hiwa?
We can divide the talk into 2 parts, where I can say a few words about alignment, how we have aligned the capacity building program here in Norway with the ADAM framework project and the handbook that comes out of it. So what we have done, since we are, as Nicole says, that we are a small group of 4 experts and 1 administrative person that supports us, in total 5 in the core group, we have stated in our application to the Norwegian Research Council that we will keep ourselves updated all the time about what's going on in the landscape around us in Norway and abroad, to make sure that the content of our courses will be of the highest quality, relevant, and timely. So by doing so, we have always been part of the initiatives that have been going on in Europe. So it started, as an example, we are heavily involved in ERA Action 17. When it was ERA Action 17, the elevating of the strategic capacity of research institutions and research funding organizations. So we were representing the Norwegian ministry in this work. So now we had an overview over the political landscape because we were part of it and contributing to it. We were also aware of the CARDEA project funded by the EU Commission and the Research Management Roadmap funded by the EU Commission, and now the RM framework and the RM comp, or the competency matrix that came out of these initiatives. And we are closely collaborating with the NARMA and all the conferences and the great initiatives that they have. So we were not surprised when the handbook came out because we were already part of it. And what we did during that period was to do a continuous alignment with what was going on, what was brewing and in the making, so to speak, and we feed it back into the content of courses and all programs. So when the handbook came, so we had a meeting for 2 days ago with the core team, and we went through the handbook, how to use it, because there was a launch of the pilot groups by the project for a few days ago. And you could see that this is a familiar stuff for us because we have been contributing to it and being part of it.
The trick here is, of course, that you've been doing this for so many years, and you have developed and distilled a training program, so you're advanced. So the trick here is, of course, you, of course, can tick many of the boxes of such a handbook of how to approach things. Are there things there where you say, okay, these are elements we haven't considered before, or where we have not included it in what we did? How is that? Because you haven't started running the pilot yet. Yeah, that should be very clear also for the listeners. The pilot is not running, but can you see things where we say, okay, in the pilot we will then, these are all good, but maybe this part and this part we should see how that works.
Yeah, so when it comes to what we could pilot or learn from the handbook that we haven't tested yet, for example, we do not have that much focus on the examination part. So we're like examining the learning outcomes and that part, because our program is very, very much focused on soft skills, and that means getting more training based on best practice sharing, reflection among participants, and networking and all of that. So I think that's one thing that we haven't considered, maybe because we also don't have the ECTS, so we haven't. It hasn't been a part of the program yet. But I mean, it could be evolving in that way, that we would need some sort of certificate in the long run, and then it's good to have the handbook to see what would it take in order for us to get there with the more formal training with the ECTS.
Yeah, and you're in a wonderful position. You have the training setup that is very, very developed. So being the professionals you are within a system that knows how to put up examinations and tests and so on, you're in a good position to make a nice setup for that, no?
Absolutely, and we did consider it in the pilot if we were going to do it with ECTS or without ECTS, but we ended up without ECTS in order just to making the pilot going because it takes a long time to get to the accreditation part. But until now, we haven't had participants either asking for it. I mean, they haven't asked for ECTS here in Norway, and maybe that's a national context thing that differs from other countries, where it's more important to have the more formal training certificate than it might be here in Norway. That's at least my take on it.
This is a great point. The treat for us to be part of all these initiatives is that the content will be excellent and we learn a lot. Exactly what Nicole also says, that we lack parts that we haven't thought about, or we haven't asked for by the participants in our courses. That said, the profession is developing. So for a few years ago, when the pilot started, there were no ERA Action 17, or there were no new ERA for research management. Mm-hmm. So we were so the landscape is moving. Now we are moving toward a profession. So when you have a profession and you have framework, handbooks, and so on, then you should think about interoperability. So if someone takes a course in Norway, for example, and learn about research management, whether these courses and these skills they acquire could be applied somewhere else, like, for example, Spain or Italy. So you see that even though the content, and we are in a better position when it comes to the establishing of the training program, but the landscape is moving, and maybe we might need to consider this as well, Nicole, in the near future, how to move along with the wave for our profession in Europe. So this will be an interesting discussions to have.
Yeah, I just also wanted to add, the handbook is I would think it's very flexible. As we're talking now, we're talking about our Norwegian context and how our training program has developed over the years with everything we've said. But I do think that the main point of the handbook is also making it flexible, so that not one size fits all. So some of the other content is very general, and some is more context specific, and that means that every country and every association can just pick what they think is most important for their training program, and I think we can check out some of the boxes, but we can't check out all of the boxes in it. And but two very important things that I think are in the handbook. The one is that there is an overall framework for competence and knowledge development among RMAs. That's the one thing. And the other is that there is a very structured approach on how to develop a training program. And I think that is sort of like the most important part for any association to go through all of these steps in developing a training program, which is very well defined in the handbook.
Hiwa, you want to say something?
And exactly, I think you said what I was thinking of, which is really skillful to manage to write a handbook for a profession with the diversity that we have in Europe. The regional diversities, the institutional diversities, the role diversities, and so on. So to have a flexible structure that they have managed to create and now piloting is amazing. This is a great work, and you can see that the people who have put together this handbook, they know what they are talking about, and it will be really useful going for it. It took us many years to establish a training program in Norway and make it running it well. So it's not done overnight. Collecting all these experiences from different parts of Europe and distill it to one handbook that's flexible and could be used in a structured way, and as Nicole says, that you can adapt it to your complexity level and your ambition level, it's just impressive.
That's exactly the point, right? It's the whole discourse of this is that it should be so flexible that any framework can, under any framework conditions and traditions and cultural history, education, so on and so forth, can tap into it. Thanks. Here towards the end of the conversation, we need to have a conversation about the quality label. We talked about ECTS. We talked about one thing is a guide that a handbook is, but the quality label, of course, has established as part of the project to give some formality around this.
I think the quality level is really important for us. We have discussed it, and we will go thoroughly through it. In our perspective, having a peer review, putting a mirror in front of ourselves, what we have done in the past years, and how good it is, and how good it aligns with the quality labels and all the checkboxes that they have put there, is really valuable for us, because we get validated each time we apply for more funding from the Norwegian Research Council, and we get the funding. So this is a sort of peer review validation from the funders. But having a quality label formulated by RMAs in Europe and the RM framework that we can recognize ourselves in is really valuable. So we will do this thoroughly, and it will be important for us as well. It will be a quality tag for the Norwegian training program. I don't know, Nicole, if you want to share more thoughts.
Yeah, I think well, you've said it all, but for the credibility of the project, I mentioned in the beginning that we had a very good standing and reputation of the program in Norway, but also abroad, and I think it would be very important for us to receive such a quality label, just to like, okay, we have been doing this, and we will continue to do this, and give a program with quality that checks a lot of the boxes that are needed for training programs for research managers. And I think it's important for the professionalization of RMAs, not just in Norway, but in Europe.
How will the quality label work in all practicality?
Well, it would be on the training program. So it would be for NARMA as an association, that they have a quality label training program.
And then, so let's say a university that has not done this before, one of the smaller ones that maybe has support, but they haven't structured it. So they want to do this. Are they supposed to use the handbook as a guiding, and then they set it up, and then come say, you did bad or you did good? Hiwa, yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a great thought. That's what I was thinking of as well. So you read the handbook, you understand what's going on, because they really take it step by step. They start with the policy landscape, the European landscape. What's research management? Why it's important? Why the EU Commission has dedicated an entire ERA action in the 2022-24 policy package, and now a new era for why we are important. Who are we? So they take you into this journey. So this is important. And by the time you are done with the handbook, so you feel some sort of pride, and you are important. Your role is important. You are recognized, and they give you all the tools that you need. So when you put together a training program, then you use the quality label. So you can use it. It's good to have a quality label. It's cool to have a quality label. But it could also function as a checkpoint, as exactly as you alluded to, Niels, is that, okay, we have put together a training program, but what the label does, by all these boxes that you have to check for yourself and your team and your institution or your regional country, it forces you to think about, do you have everything that you need? Have you thought about everything? So it's basically a checklist for the training program. And as soon as you have the checklist, then you have a good program, and then the quality label will come like almost by itself. So I think this is, they have thought about it really nicely and in a logical step by step. Read the handbook, understand what's going on, feel that you are part of a community, you belong to a really important profession, so important that we are part of the policy making now. The policy processes, and then start with the framework program, putting together a training program according to your needs and complexity level, and do the quality label to check if you have everything in place. And if so, then you get the quality label. So I think it's really nicely done. I have to say.
Who will hand out the quality label? How does that actually work? The actual say, okay, this now you are awarded the quality label.
So you do a self-assessment,
Okay.
and the ADAM framework will do the labeling. My hope is that since the ADAM framework is a project, I hope the label will be the quality label, and the checklist and the handbook will live further under a more permanent umbrella somewhere.
Okay, just curious. All right. Actually, we're moving towards the end. Well, I think we have covered also fine about the quality label. Now, expectations and final reflections. So what we will take with you from the project and the pilot activities?
Yeah, so I think for us, and we have talked about it, and we will continue talking about it during the piloting of the handbook, is that we will review our program, given all the aspects of the handbook. So for us, that's sort of like our expectation, that we get one step further in developing our training program, and that it gets even better, and as we mentioned earlier, maybe adding some things that aren't currently part of the program. And hopefully, I think Hiwa mentioned it well, that the handbook keeps on living and becomes sort of like the quality label that we need to have across training programs in Europe.
Yeah, thanks. Hiwa.
And my expectation, and I think it's already fulfilled, is that being contributing and being part of these processes is so humbling, because you learn so much. Even though we have been doing this training program and the capacity building for many years in Norway, it's a humbling experience when you sit in the same room with so many clever people from different parts of Europe. That there are still a lot of stuff that we haven't thought about.
Yeah.
You learn a lot. So we have done it for many years, but we are not there. We are not complete. We still learn, and it's really rewarding to be part of it. And people are smart, clever, generous, and nice to work with, and they really believe in what they are doing, which is great. Which is great to experience.
Yeah, I think also this project reflects very much on the research management community, that it's always been, at least as long as I've been involved in research management since 2017, it's been very, very much oriented towards sharing. So we are willing to share as a pilot in the ARM framework project. We also know that our pilot colleagues are willing to share, and other pilots are willing to test. So there is a very much sharing culture among RMAs in Europe, and that means that we all can continue developing and pushing forward together.
What a nice note to end on.
Great.
Exactly. Thank you so much, dear listeners. Thank you so much for listening to this. I hope you enjoyed this out there in the research management community and beyond. So on my website, thegrant.eu, there will be a link. If you go to the episode notes, this episode, where you listen to your podcast in Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever, in the notes you'll find a link, and that link will bring you to this to the website of this episode. You can click there through to the project website, which will find information about the handbook, about the quality label. There will also be links here to my dear guests, Nicole and Hiwa, and to NARMA, and to to all this. So I will try to gather everything. And if you want to connect with the project, there's also a LinkedIn site. I will also have a link to that. So you can go and tap there if you're interested in information about the project. If you're interested in what I'm doing, you can go to my website and you can subscribe to my email list. There's an online form on each site. And then you are connected to what I do. You can connect with me also on LinkedIn, of course, to check more about what the grant is and what I do. That's that. Nicole, Hiwa, thank you so much for joining me. Let's say goodbye. Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
You have been listening to the Grant Collaborations, a part of the Grant podcast. This podcast episode is a collaboration between the RM Framework project and the Grant. All episodes in this RM Framework series have their own site on the Grant website. You will find the link in the episode site where you listen to your podcast. On the site for this episode, you will find links to Nicole's and Hiwa's LinkedIn sites, and of course a link to the project website. Further, there is a link to the NARMA site. Next episode will be released on the 22nd of April, where I will zoom in on the Hungarian pilot activities. You can indeed look forward to that. You have been listening to the Grant Collaborations, a part of the Grant podcast.